Hello students, welcome to week 2 for COM 510. This week we're looking at the nature and quality of research. In addition to looking at that, we are looking at the quality of research design and processes, in which you can see here in the week 2 agenda, we are reading chapters 4 and 5 of the Babby text and chapters 3 and 4 of the Rubin text. Additionally, we're watching videos 1 through 3 about the nature of social research, the quality of research design and processes. So it's a continued video that's broken down into 3 YouTube videos that we're watching in addition to this lecture. This week we're completing our first research review activity. It's a discussion board, so the original post is due on Friday and the reply posts are due by Sunday. Once you're finished with that, or at some point, you will complete critical assignment activity number 2. As we move through the course content, you can see here that research review number 1 asks you to define and explain 5 terms from the course text. As you define and explain these terms, it's important that you share what type of study your project closely relates to, as well as some of the information discussed in chapter 4 of the Babby text. The third thing you'll do is discuss the purpose of your study and how it relates to one of the 3 purposes of research from the Babby text, and we'll be going through that as well this week. As you look at that, the entire thing, all 3 answers within your review, the total amount is going to be 300 to 400 words, and your reply post will be 150 to 200 words, and you need to reply to at least 3 different students. So please keep in mind that your original responses are due no later than Friday, and your reply posts are due by Sunday. As we look at the critical assignment number 2, this week you will be constructing a source list. This will give me a good idea of what some of your sources are you plan on using in your research proposal and your critical assignment. So what you'll do is you're going to create a list of 10 to 20 sources that will be included in as APA citations, and then underneath that citation you're going to give me about a 1 to 2, maybe 3 sentence, not really more than that, description of the text and why it's important for your proposal. This will help me go through it and look at it so I can have a good idea of what it is and how it will relate to your study, and I can give you feedback if maybe the source isn't valid or strong enough, or if it's really great. And so that's what that is. You're going to find at least 10 to 20 sources you plan to use in your critical assignment. Give me about a 1 to 2 sentence description on that. That is also due on Sunday. As we look through some information from the course text that's really relevant to what we're talking about this week is it's important to look at the 3 purposes for research. So there's really 3 purposes that are defined as necessary for research. So all research typically falls within 3 areas. The first area is exploration. Exploration research really is designed just as an exploratory study. It's really used when a researcher wants to become more familiar with a topic and wants to maybe pilot an idea to see if it warrants further research. So exploratory studies really are used to satisfy the researcher's curiosity about something, desire, or help them fulfill their desire for a better understanding about some communication phenomenon. It also allows the researcher to test the feasibility for use of a more extensive study and develop the methods that may be employed in any subsequent study. So really what we're looking at here is we have an idea, we want to explore it, and then as we get a little deeper into it, we may need to refine our methods, broaden our scope of the sample we're researching, and so we're using exploratory research to kind of get in there and just kind of scratch the surface on this particular phenomenon. Descriptive research, or description, is really used to provide a description of some type of communication situation, interaction, phenomenon, or event. So we're using our research to provide a detailed description of what that is. Many descriptive studies typically are qualitative in nature, and most of them use ethnographic research methods. So meaning the researcher is immersing themselves within the society to fully understand what the situation, phenomena, or an event is, to provide a detailed description of what that may be. So for example, there's a really good book called Sidewalk. This is where the researcher spent a year and a half on looking at the lives of people that live and work on the sidewalks of New York and Manhattan. They immerse themselves in this phenomenon and in communication events to really be able to provide a description of what life was like. Typical questions you answer in this type of research are the who, what's, when's, where, and how's. You're really trying to describe what that particular phenomenon is, and you're immersing yourself within that. It's not typically utilized much in quantitative research. Quantitative research doesn't really provide us with the in-depth perspective we need for this type of research. The third thing research can do is provide an explanation. This is where research is designed to explain things beyond providing a mere description or a mere exploration of it. It really may help to explain people's attitudes towards particular societal questions, issues, or phenomena that are related to communication. As we look through different types of research, it's important to kind of look at some paradigms found within research. The systems paradigm is used as we evaluate research from a communication research perspective, communication as a system. We utilize 5 characteristics in this type of paradigm. We're looking for communication to have some interdependence of parts or a system, where systems are organized by wholes, and that the whole is usually greater than the sum of its part, and that the parts are characterized by a dynamic equilibrium. In this sense, additionally, systems vary in their degree of openness, and that we can view communication through this entire system in which it may take place. This paradigm also seeks to explain functions of parts in relations to the whole and uses quantitative data in addition to studying variables in-depthly. The interpretive paradigm believes that humans are capable of reflectivity, and their action is purposive, especially when it comes to communication phenomenon and behaviors. Studies along this really tends to look at the semantics of relationships, and studies typically look for meaning through rules and communication rules. Theories are constructed through understandings of local knowledge and heuristic frameworks, and is using qualitative data to examine the interpretive nature of communication and phenomena related towards that. The critical paradigm tends to look at reflection producing knowledge. This is where critical reflection, more than likely related to some type of rhetorical analysis or theory, enables the exposure of some type of ideology or power imbalances within the research being examined or being conducted. Research in this type of paradigm is designed to enable social change, and that we view social science as subject to an innate critical reflection at all times. This particular paradigm typically uses a critical historical approach to research, where we're looking at some more of the rhetorical methodologies and historical methodologies to examine information that is already out there to enable some type of social change for future dissemination. The positivist paradigm is based on the belief in objective reality. It really tells us here that we're studying variables in a quantitative fashion to seek and explain causal relationships between these variables. These variables and this type of objective reality is really desired to generate laws that can generalize communication behavior utilizing quantitative data. That's important to understand that we're looking at this paradigm through the belief the belief on objective realities and analyzing quantitative data to generalize communication behaviors. As you go through a lot of the information this week, it's important to take a look at this week 2 agenda again. Do keep in mind we are watching a series of videos on the nature of social research. Do remember that communication studies is rooted within the social sciences, so how we conduct research is based on a social science perspective. You are completing research review number 1, and the original post is due on Friday, with your reply posts due on Sunday, and critical assignment activity number 2 is also due on Sunday. If you have any questions, please reach out to me. If you have any questions, especially with your research proposal and conducting research, that should be addressed very early on this week. I pray you will have a blessed week, and contact me with anything. God bless.